there will be another keynote session about practical AI for the enterprise from use case to production in weeks, not months. This session will be delivered by CEO of Magure, Akhil Koka. So without further ado, let's give a big round of applause to Akhil Koka.
Give it a click. All right. Good morning, everyone. A louder cheer. We live in the world of AI. Good morning, everyone. Fantastic. That's more like the spirit. My name is Akhil Koka, and I'm the CEO at Magure. Today, we are going to speak a lot on practical AI applications for the enterprise. I promise you, this is going to be the only slide about Magure, right? In 60 seconds, we are a UAE headquartered company with delivery centers in India and an offshore office in the US. Over 60 plus customers that we've been doing AI work over the years for. Over 50 plus AI deployments, both from a product side of the business as well as the services side of the business. Today, we are a triple ISO certified company, including 42001 for AI governance systems, 27001 for information security, and 9001. And we're also SOC 2 Type 2 certified. We have developed an enterprise agentic AI platform called Magure AI, which is an orchestration layer that connects into multiple LLMs, local sovereign deployments, as well as having our own MCP, AI observability, and visibility. And of course, providing 27 support. I promise you, this is going to be the only slide. Now, what is actually happening today in Indonesia, right? Indonesia is not waiting. And in the lead up to this and coming into the country, I did a lot of research. And what we've understood is that the rails for your infrastructure is already there. Some of you might be familiar with several of these things. So Shahabat AI, your 70 billion parameter. And this is something that can be locally deployed. So Indonesia is not just about consuming AI, but it's producing sovereign models. And this is good news for us and good news for you. Also, Southeast Asia's first GB200 deployment has happened. And this was by Linastra. That's the only speaker notes I have, by the way, guys, because I can't remember everything. But Linastra that has announced that, and also building an AI center of excellence. And this was launched in 2025. Again, fantastic news for us because you have in-country computing. Then we also have the leading cloud providers like Microsoft, Google, who made significant investments in the country. So hyperscale compute is within the residency of the country. And why am I stressing on these? It's all about how you can build sovereign AI capabilities. Then we look at regulation. Now, AI purpose. So apparently there are two things, AI ethics and the National AI Roadmap of 26 to 29, which has been drafted by Comdigi. And this is not yet signed, but it's a clear indication of where guidelines are going to turn into regulation. And I have a bit of experience around this as well, and I'm going to give you an example around UAE, where today, right from UAE Federal PDPL to free zones like ADGM and DIFC to health authorities, all have some sort of AI regulation or AI guidelines. How are enterprises coping towards that? The next one is the OJK, AI guidelines. I believe that is your regulator for financial institutions here. So they also have certain guidelines for that. So every financial institution in Indonesia has to adhere to them. And how are you going about doing that? And finally, a $366 billion investment happening in 2030. So this is racing towards the future. And that's an independent study done by Kearney as well. Now, before I get into the next slide, how many of you use ChatGPT on a regular basis? Show of hands. Perfect. How many of you use Claude? Cowork, code? Yeah, fantastic. How many of you have productionized AI in your businesses? I see one, I see two, I see three. Perfect. Now, I get this question asked a lot. When we have ChatGPT and Claude, why do I need an enterprise AI platform like us? Or, even before me, our good friends at Datadog, or even Redis, why do you need platforms like these? The fundamental difference, of course, between the two is ChatGPT is fantastic, Claude is fantastic. But they are individual productivity suites. Today, when you interact with it, can you really tell if it's hallucinated or not? No. Can you do token optimization? No, you can't. So a lot of black box. It's a completely different category where we all follow, or where we all fall, and how this can be applied to industries. Today, IBM surveyed well over 500 senior leaders in this country, and what is found is 93% of them are confident in deploying AI. However, 24% only have a clear AI governance. That's a 69-point gap between the two. And why does this happen? It's because a demo to production gap truly exists. Today, what are your options? Your options are cloud service providers, Bedrock, Foundry, Vertex. Again, fantastic platforms. Nothing taking out of them, right? But residency is someone else's calls. The models that you're going to use is someone else's calls. The next one is stitching. How many of you used NA10, LangChain, LangGraph, Crew AI? Anyone? Yeah, you have? Fantastic. Again, beautiful platforms, really, really good. But again, they're fantastic in prototypes and demos. But when you want to take it to enterprise applicability, you have to stitch a whole bunch of other tools together in order to do so. And the last one is build. Before we had Magure AI, and when we used to do services for customers, we used that a lot. And we know all the pains that takes in building custom code, custom applications, building Python code. You're almost building plumbing every time you're delivering an AI application. And that's going to take you a long time as well. Again, none of these are wrong. Don't get me wrong, none of these are wrong. They're just slower paths to production. The way we do it differently is, many of my friends alluded to the fact that models are non-deterministic, probabilistic, they hallucinate. There is nothing you can do about it. But what you can do is having deterministic workflows. That is where you get control over your AI. Governance in the runtime. So again, agent observability, how one agent handed off to the other. Role-based access control that is built across the entire estate of every new application that you build. And of course, human in the loop, where you're handing it off to human to make those decisions. You never rely on the AI completely to make those decisions and the choices for you, but how can you bring in humans who finally have the say? With what we have is, almost when you're building a pilot, it is as good as production. And we've taken RAG applications to more complicated use case from pilot, or from use case discovery to production in a matter of days and weeks. A few such examples, right? Now this, we built for a digital Islamic bank in the UAE. It's KYB corporate onboarding. Today, the bank would take about 30 days in order to build a case to open a business banking account, sometimes a bit lesser. But what happens with those teams? They get a bunch of documents, trade license, articles of association, identifying UBOs, adverse news media, sanction lists. Today, the entire onboarding flow is completely done by AI. User comes in, uploads all these documents, AI extracts the information, auto-populates the forms, AI validates. So the person who's updating is the maker, and then it goes to the back-end business banking team, who then have a very structured case of every business banking account. There is a web agent that goes and searches the internet, finds adverse news media, brings it in. We have hookups into WorldCheck and LexisNexis for things such as AML alert transaction. Again, all of that comes in, AI summarizes that. So we're now able to open a business banking account from 30 days, we've now brought it to 15 days, and as we progress, we'd like to do it, finish it off in 1 day. That saves them well over $360,000 per year, 280 hours on a monthly basis, and driving close to 60% efficiency. Again, sticking to the banking side of things. So this we've done for banking, investment bank, wealth management companies. Any financial institution has to do AML checks. And what happens? How many of you in financial services here? Show of hands. Anybody? Perfect. So every time you do an AML check, you get a lot of alerts. And most of these are false positives. So a compliance team, most of the time, they're just closing these false positives. And what happens is that they're never looking at riskier problems. And again, I have one of my banking friends told me, apparently financial institutions have a bit of budget to pay for fines. Now, AI doing this for you. AI can look at history. It can look at transaction logs. It can look at several parameters that are typically missed by humans and does AML alert disposition and clearing your false positives very quickly and flagging the ones that are most risky for humans to intervene and make those choices. Agentic threat detection, similar to AML. Now this is for Security Operations Center. You all know that UAE was under attack all around March. This we deployed for a government agency, and we knew that they were getting attacked a lot. Now you have various different infrastructure estate or software estate, from server, storage, networking, SIEM integrations. So this throws up a lot of logs at information security or SOC teams. How are you, again, looking at false positives, how the most critical ones are flagged very quickly for humans to intervene, and these false positives could be closed very quickly. But then, if there is a problem that happened, root cause analysis. Today, it's all manual. It takes you a very long time to do an RCA and put it together. But now, AI can summarize all of this, look at the triage, resolution, and give you the summary. This significantly cuts time from humans to do the job, and much faster in responding to threat vectors. Private enterprise GPT. So this we deployed for a very large family office in the UAE, actually one of the largest Sharjah family offices. The problem statement was, so they have 16 business units, 1,200 employees across education, construction, ready-mix concrete, retail. The biggest challenge that the CIO was saying, I am unable to control or govern what my people are doing. Some of you digital heads here, can you really tell the kind of usage your people are doing within your business? 100% certain, unknowingly, people have sent confidential information to GPT or Claude and say, hey, summarize this document. Could be PII information, customer information, financial information, healthcare information. There's no way to police this. Again, we're not stopping you from using a GPT model or a Claude or an Anthropic model on the back end, but have a guardrail. The choice is down to the customer if they want to send everything to a public LLM or a private LLM, or you want to do both. So we put guardrails. It has PII redaction, sensitivity labels for data. So any data that goes through that, if it's sensitive information, it just blocks it completely. But you can do all your regular work, summarize an email, chat with a document, do analysis, all of this that you can do with a private enterprise GPT. The choice is yours, whether you want to use a public or a private model. This last one, being very transparent, this is going into production in 2 weeks. This is for a healthcare organization. Today, they have a call volume of close to about 10,000 calls on a day-to-day basis for a very large healthcare organization. They have a call center team of about 200 people. But when they analyzed all the requests and the queries that are coming, about 60 to 70% of these queries are, hey, does my insurance work? Is this doctor available? Can I rebook my appointment? Or basic questions, right? How can you deflect all of these through AI? So now the AI chatbot is under UAT testing, and we found that it does an exceptionally good job with almost no hallucinations, 0 model drifts. And what we think it's going to give is close to about 45% efficiency gain, and it can chat, do about 5,000 patient interactions on a day-to-day basis. That's almost diverting 50% of the call volumes to AI. And if you can chat with something, everybody uses GPT, Claude, so you chat with something like this. So this hooks into their appointment booking system, they have an SAP system, they have a CRM, so basically federating across multiple data sources as well and giving the information the client wants. But that's 5 of many. We do from AI recruitment, complete recruitment management system, to know your vendor, RFP evaluation, SMB credit copilot. This is also fantastic. Hooks into credit bureaus, looks at customer account statements, creates a risk profile, all done through AI. Fraud detection for insurance, bank reconciliation for hospitality, SKU reconciliation, and I can go on, right? We've done work in oil and gas, in healthcare, in governments, and across the board. What weeks actually look like? So typically, the way we go about deploying, within the first week or 2, we discover and we evaluate or validate the use case. Look at feasibility, data readiness that you have. Week 3 to 4, we're going to build. So we have a canvas, We start dragging and dropping agents. We connect. Out of the box, we have about 45 plus connectors that we connect to, but we can build integrations very quickly. Week 4 to 6, you test and deploy, because the platform allows you to test very quickly, iterate quickly, fail fast, but also go into production fast. And week 6 and beyond, you're monitoring at scale. The last thing I want to leave you with, what I challenge you to do on Monday, well, it should not be Monday, it's tomorrow. Don't think of it as your hardest challenge, right? When I get asked a question a lot, how do I start with AI? Let's not look at science projects or very complicated challenges. Let's look at something that is easy to achieve, right? Your lowest hanging fruit. Pick one workflow. Either it's judgment heavy or volume heavy. Now, all of you working in different departments, think about that. And you demand governance from day one. How can I implement this workflow? How can I control and govern these agents? Humans who do the judgment, agents that do it on volume. What that means is human in the loop, where human at the end of the day makes the final call, but agents do the grunt work. Lastly, measure what you get, the hours back. How are you measuring efficiency? How much time am I saving, or is it saving me dollar value? I was asked this question, how do I unlock budgets for AI? But when you think about it, you should not unlock a budget for AI. If you've done the right use case, you apply the right business case metrics to it, the budget will unlock automatically. Lastly, let's look at shipping it in weeks. If somebody is going to give you a 3-month or a 4-month roadmap, say no. Lastly, the rails are already built. Now, don't take my word for it. I would love to show you all how we do it. So we have a workshop with Kurika at about 2:30 in the hall downstairs. We can show you many of these use cases in action. And we're happy to take any questions that you may have. And with that, my time is up. Thank you very much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure presenting to you today.